The Senate would come to order. Senator Crowder.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mr. Majors, would you please take the roll?
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgartner, Brophy,
Excused.
Cadman, Crowder, Grantham,
Excused. Senator Grantham's present.
Guzman, Harvey,
Excused.
Heath, Herpin, Hill, Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr,
Absent.
King,
Excused.
Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro,
Excused.
Rivera, Roberts, Scheffel, Schwartz, Stedman, Tocktrop, Todd, Ulibarri, Zenzinger, Brophy, Kerr, Madam President.
Here. With 32 present, 0 absent, 3 excused, the Senate has a quorum. Motion to adopt the journal. Senator Kafalis.
Thank you, Madam President, and good morning, colleagues. I move that the reading of the Journal of March 18th be dispensed with and the journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Please add Senator Harvey to the roll. Committee reports. Senate Services.
March 19, 2014, correctly printed, Senate Bills 161 and 162, Senate Joint Resolution 21, correctly engrossed, Senate Bills 92 and 143, correctly revised, House Bills 1030, 1117, 1142, 1160, 1177, and 1222, correctly re-revised, House Bills 1082, 1108, 1171, 1191, 1223, 1256, and 1265.
Message from the reviser.
March 18, 2014, we herewith transmit without comment as amended House Bills 1260 and 1267, without comment as amended Senate Bill 119.
Committee reports.
March 18, 2014, Committee on Finance. Under consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1034 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. March 18, 2014, Committee on Finance. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1017 be amended as follows and as so amended before the Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation. March 18, 2014, Committee on Finance. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1080 be amended as follows and as so amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. March 18, 2014, Committee on Finance. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1105 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation.
But if we're too far into it, I can pass.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Sometimes you have to have do-overs in life, and this is one of those times. So I'm going to move that the Senate recall House Bill 1265 from the House for the purpose of reconsidering the bill. Members, we've passed the bill on the consent calendar yesterday, but a technical error was discovered in the repeal and relocation of the affected statute. So as the last chamber to act on the bill, we will need to recall it and take it up on reconsideration and offer a third reading amendment to correct the technical error.
The motion is to recall House Bill 1265 from the House for purpose of reconsideration. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted, and the bill will be recalled. Message from the House.
March 19, 2014, Madam President, in response to the request of the Senate for the recall of House Bill 1265, the bill is transmitted herewith.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Having voted on the prevailing side, I move for the reconsideration of House Bill 1265.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will reconsider House Bill 1265. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1265?
House Bill 1265 by Representative Moreno and Senator Roberts concerning the regulation of games of chance.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the readoption of House Bill 1265 on third reading and final passage, and I request permission to offer a third reading amendment.
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Would you please explain the need for a third reading amendment?
Yes, we had a technical error on page 27, and the word repeal is in the new amendment.
The question for the body is Senator Roberts' request for permission to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Permission is granted. Mr. Majors, would you please read Amendment L003 to House Bill 1265?
Amendment L003 to House Bill 1265.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. I move Amendment L003.
Is there any further discussion on L003? Question is the adoption of L003. Are there any no votes on Amendment L003? Okay. With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, L003 is adopted. To the bill, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 1265 is the reorganization of the bingo and raffles law. And is fairly organizational and procedural, but we had this little technical glitch, and I would just ask that you support the repassage.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1265. Are there any no votes? Senator Marble. With 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1265 is adopted. Additional co-sponsors. Okay, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege for Senator Crowder.
The motion is to grant Senator Crowder a moment of personal privilege out of order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Crowder will be granted a moment of personal privilege out of order. Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to take a quick moment. We have a couple here that I think we need to recognize, Chris Johnson and his wife. They live in Otero County, but Chris Johnson has been the Otero County Sheriff, and this is his last term in running. And his wife is the superintendent of Kim Schools. So we have a dual partnership here that do provide a service to the state of Colorado. And if you recall the other day, we had the jailbreak out in Otero County, and Sheriff Johnson was instrumental in wrapping that up. So I just thought I'd introduce you to a couple of the state's finest. If you would rise, please, and acknowledge them, and I thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the titles to all of the bills on third reading consent?
House Bill 1142 by Representative Del Grosso, Senators Grantham and Nicholson, concerning a prohibition against the offsite electronic sale of lottery tickets by the Colorado Lottery Commission. House Bill 1177 by Representative Swalm and Senator Toktrop, concerning requirements governing meetings of the boards of county commissioners of the larger counties. House Bill 1117 by Representative Schaefer and Senator Roberts, concerning the creation of the Colorado Premature Birth Commission. Senate Bill 143 by Senator Stedman and Representatives May and Giroux, concerning payment of amounts awarded through nursing facility provider reimbursement appeals from the Medicaid Nursing Facility Cash Fund. Senate Bill 192 by Senator Rivera and Representative Williams, concerning the creation of the crime of insurance fraud and in connection therewith making an appropriation. House Bill 1160 by Representatives Mitch Bush and Quorum and Senators Todd and Herpin, concerning overweight vehicle permits for divisible loads.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I request we remove House Bill 1117 from the third reading of bills consent calendar and place it at the end of third reading of bills.
House Bill 1117 will be removed from third reading consent and added to the end of third reading bills calendar. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of all the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bills 1142, 1177, and Senate Bills 143 and 92, and House Bill 1160.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills on third reading consent? Seeing no discussion, are there any no votes on any of the bills on third reading consent? Senator Marble.
Thank you, Madam President. I wish to be a no on Senate Bill 143.
Senator Balmer.
Thank you, Madam President. I wish to be a no on Senate Bill 143.
With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1142 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Crowder, Senator Rivera. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1177 is adopted. Co-sponsors. With 31 ayes, 2 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 143 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Aguilar. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 92 is adopted. Co-sponsors. With 33 ayes, Senator John is a co-sponsor on Senate Bill 92. As is Senator Todd. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1160 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Rivera. Third reading of bills calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1182?
House Bill 1182 by Representative Hamner and Senator Kerr, concerning changes for the 2015-16 school year to certain public education accountability measures specified in the Education Accountability Act of 2009 to accommodate the transition to administering new statewide assessments.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1182 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Question before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1182. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Shuffle, Marble, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Herpin, Lundberg, Rivera, Crowder, Grantham, Hill, Balmer. With 19 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1182 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Zenzinger, Todd, Ulibarri, Schwartz, Johnston, Mr. Majority Leader, Kafalas, Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1130?
House Bill 1030 by Representatives Quorum and Mitch Bush and Senators Schwartz and Roberts concerning the establishment of incentives for the development of hydroelectric energy systems.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. And we move House Bill 1030 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1030. Are there any no votes? Senators Marble, Baumgartner, Lambert, Lundberg, Balmer, Hill. Mr. Minority Leader, is your hand up? Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Shuffle, Grantham.
Leave the nation. Hydro. Okay. I get it. Your turn now.
With 26 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1030 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Nicholson, John, Kerr, Newell. Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Jones. Senators Johnston, Ulibarri, Studman. Kafalis. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1117?
No, 1222.
Oh, sorry. House Bill 1222.
House Bill 1222 by Representative McLaughlin and Senators Schwartz and Roberts concerning modification of the terms under which a county may issue tax-exempt private activity bonds on behalf of an eligible applicant for the purpose of financing a geothermal energy project on the applicant's property.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Madam President, we ask, let's see. I'm going to go back to, I move for the adoption of House Bill 1222 on third reading and ask for adoption.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1222. Are there any no votes? Senators Marble, Balmer, Lundberg, Brophy, Hill, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Shuffle, Grantham, Rivera. Mr. Minority Leader? With 21 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1222 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Aguilar, Kafalis, Nicholson, Madam President Pro Tem. Senators Newell, Kerr, Jones, Johnston, Ulibarri. Mr. Majority Leader. Please add the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1117?
House Bill 1117 by Representative Schaefer and Senator Roberts concerning the creation of the Colorado Premature Birth Commission.
Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1117 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Senator Lundberg.
Yes, Madam. Thank you, Madam President. I ask for permission to run a third reading amendment.
Senator Lundberg, please explain your request for permission.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. And it's my fault, frankly. I neglected to note that it was on the consent calendar for second reading, and while I was over preparing my amendment, we were passing it on the consent calendar. Hence, I ask for the indulgence of the Senate to be able to present this amendment in the second House on third reading.
The question before the body is whether to grant Senator Lundberg permission to offer a third reading amendment to House Bill 1117. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. All righty. The ayes have it. Senator Lundberg is granted permission to offer a third reading amendment. Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move L011.
Mr. Majors, would you please read L011?
Amendment L011, House Bill 1117 by
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam President. Maybe I should apologize in this respect as well, in that the amendment essentially goes back to what the House sent over to us in the first place. It has to do with the composition of the membership of this commission, that being to include members from this body and the House, so one from each, one appointed by the leader in both parties, in both houses. So it would increase the commission's membership by 4, even as I say, the bill came over in the House. And let me tell you why I think this is an important issue. This is the bill concerning the Colorado Premature Birth Commission. And honestly, I'm a little troubled by the composition of the commission without this, because if you read on page 2 of, or excuse me, page 3 of the bill, in second paragraph, essentially it says on or before July 1st, 2014, the executive director of the department, in consultation with a Colorado nonprofit organization whose mission focus is primarily premature birth issues. And that organization, as I have had it explained to me, is the March of Dimes, which does a lot of good things, but I'm a little troubled by their association with Planned Parenthood. And I see a skewed perspective on premature birth issues, particularly when we have seen legislation successfully passed that actually, unbelievably, sees the unborn human being as something less than other human beings afforded full constitutional rights. And I believe that there needs to be the opportunity for a little more balance on this commission, hence give both parties from both houses the ability to appoint a commission member to this measure. Now, I understand that the amendment that was put on in the House, including these 4 members, was taken off with the argument that it would then have to go through the interim committee process. I don't see this as an interim committee, and there's no compensation, and the amendment is very clear. It actually reiterates what the bill says initially, that there is no compensation afforded there. And this isn't an interim committee. This is a commission, similar to other task force or groups that we will specify that a member or more than one member from the legislature can be appointed to that. I believe that's appropriate for this commission and would ask for your support for this amendment, which it's not identical to what the House sent over because it's placed in a few lines higher in the bill, but as I read it, I believe it works appropriately, and it's intended to do nothing more than simply allow 4 more members for the commission, 2 from the House and 2 from the Senate. I urge the adoption of the amendment.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. My response back is I don't object to the amendment, although this was discussed in committee, and the idea was to get the commission working. The legislators were not originally contemplated. This commission is to be comprised of 9 citizens appointed by CDPHE who represent maternal and child health fields. I think the commission's going to do great work with or without the legislators. To Senator Lundberg's concern, I don't have a problem with adding them back in. It is difficult, I can say as one who lives in the outlying areas, if you have legislators and you don't provide any compensation or reimbursement for expenses, it pretty much limits you or takes you out of the running to be on there. But we did have some conversation that legislators perhaps could participate by phone. But in in the spirit of honoring the good work that I anticipate the Premature Birth Commission is going to do, I don't object to the amendment.
Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe that this is the first time I've seen an amendment from this senator to add people onto a commission. However, I do understand your concerns. I have the same concern about involvement, especially from the rural legislators who aren't being compensated. I know it's difficult even for me being a local to not be compensated for this kind of work, but if there are any who wish to do that without being uncompensated, I do not see a problem having a legislative voice in there, and so I do not object to the amendment either, and hoping that others would follow.
Any further discussion on L011? Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I feel constrained under the interest of full disclosure to tell you that I'm not going to vote for the bill. I do believe that the Commission needs more balance. I am still troubled by this Commission really being structured by an outside organization, which is really how it is put together. And I realize I say that at the great risk of maybe getting negative votes on the amendment, but I don't want you to be under a false impression, and I try to be honest as best as I possibly can be. I believe it is important that if we're going to deal with premature birth issues, that everyone needs to be at the table, and I do believe that this amendment will greatly more facilitate that than without the amendment. I also would note that everyone serving on the Commission will serve without any compensation according to the terms of the bill. So, yes, it does put a strain on any member of the legislature who wishes to do this, but it does that for every citizen who wishes to serve on the Commission as well. It at least gives the opportunity for the deeply divisive issues around the unborn to be at the table, at least to a minor degree.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I would just, or Madam President, I'm sorry. I just want to remind folks what this focus is on the Premature Birth Commission. It is to come up with strategies to reduce Colorado's premature birth rate. Currently, 1 in 10 Colorado babies are born premature, and that often encounter serious health problems as a result of that. So again, I believe the Commission's going to do really great work, and if legislators are a part of it, all the better. Thank you.
Other discussion on L011? Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to mention that the fact that, again, we don't have compensation for folks that will be serving on the Commission. One issue that contributes to infant newborn complications is the fact that we have at higher elevation lower birth weights, and our children historically and have had lower birth rates because of their birth and obviously the pregnancy at higher elevations, and I think that that is a factor, and the ability to accommodate service and representation statewide is an important issue, and ask that at least the bill and for the record that we recognize that statewide representation will be valuable to the Commission.
The question for the body is the adoption of L011. Are there any no votes? Senator Zenzinger, Senator Jones, Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Ulibarri, Senator Stedman. Please add the President. Senator Johnston. With 26 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Amendment L011 is adopted. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1117 as amended on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? The question is the adoption of House Bill 1117 on third reading. Are there any no votes? Senator Harvey, Senator Brophy, Senators Baumgartner, Lambert, Marble, Lundberg, Grantham, Hill, Shuffle. With 24 ayes, 9 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1117 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Ulibarri, Senators Nicholson, Aguilar, Jones, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Kafalis, Todd, Newell, Dr. Up, Mr. Majority Leader. Please add the President. Consideration, let's see, no general orders, second reading of bills. Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate resolve itself in committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills calendar.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself into a committee of the whole for purpose of considering general orders, second reading of bills calendar, and Senator Jones will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. The court rule is relaxed. Hello, Mom. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1092?
House Bill 1092 by Representative Vigil, Senator Kafalis, concerning the voluntary contribution designation benefiting the Colorado Youth Conservation Corps Fund that appears on the state individual income tax return forms.
Senator Kafalis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, good morning, colleagues. I move House Bill 1092 on second reading, and there are no committee reports.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, basically House Bill 1092 would establish an income tax checkoff for the Colorado Youth Corps Association. The Colorado Youth Corps Association oversees 10 youth conservation corps that operate around the state that work with our young people, and this would place that entity into the queue, and when there is an opening on the income tax checkoff, this would roll into that, and ultimately it would provide additional dollars, voluntary contributions to an organization that has been around for some time and basically supports our youth in terms of something like 1,600 youth that are participating in 10 accredited youth conservation corps around the state. They work on land, water, and energy conservation projects. They learn leadership skills, and for example, they've been very instrumental in helping with flood recovery efforts. It's part of our social impact infrastructure, and I welcome your support of House Bill 1092. Thank you.
Senator Toctrop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I asked for an aye vote on 1092. This group is great to help our youth around the country, but what I find interesting is because of our budget constraints, it seems like anything that we want to do down here to help different organizations, we either have to have a tax credit checkoff or special license plates. And, you know, hopefully we won't have to do this sometime, but it is because of budget constraints that we are seeing these bills all the time. And again, I just thank Senator Kafalis for bringing this forward, and do support it and ask for an aye vote.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I note that the testimony for this included the Larimer County Conservation Corps, which I suspect does a whole lot of work in Senate District 15, which I represent. Nonetheless, I come down to vote to state that I'm voting against this because it is a tax checkoff. And a tax checkoff picks winners and makes everybody else the loser. Nonprofit organizations in the state of Colorado are an incredible resource, a valuable tool for so many things that are good and right and productive for our state and our people. That's good. I fully support nonprofits, but I don't believe it's appropriate for the state to be identifying those that we will make the winners and, as a consequence, shuffle everybody else to the back of the line. If we could have a tax checkoff system that allowed you to designate dollars on your tax form for any nonprofit, that might come closer to striking a mark of encouraging nonprofits through the state system. But this type of a mechanism has never been appropriate, and unfortunately, even when it's a group from the from back home, it's still not appropriate policy for the state of Colorado.
Senator Kafalas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A final point that I wish to make is that I think all of you know how it works. We have 15 organizations that are listed on our state income tax form, and there are procedures for how you get on that income tax form, and there are procedures for how you come off that income tax form. And I would respectfully submit that in terms of the earlier statement, that ultimately it's the people who decide what organizations stay on that form, because there's a threshold that the organizations must raise, and so the people decide by their voluntary contributions if indeed that organization is going to stay on the state income tax form. And the projection for the Colorado Youth Corps Association is that they would be able to get on the form within the next 3 or so years, and ultimately that would provide more resources to help more youth in our state. I ask for your support of House Bill 1092. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1092. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1092 passes. Mr. Majors, would you please read the Senate Bill 123?
Senate Bill 123 by Senator Guzman and Representative Kagan concerning the authority of the Police Officer Standards of Training Board in connection with providing additional rulemaking authority, raising the maximum fee for certification and skills exams, allowing or awarding grants to nonprofit organizations, and denying certification for municipal violations.
Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move Senate Bill 123 and the Judiciary Report and the Appropriations Committee Report.
Very good. To the Judiciary Report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the Judiciary Committee, there were several items that occurred. One was that in the beginning of the bill, as you will hear after a while, that there was the portion where if officers did not go through training, that they could be suspended for a while until they were reaffirmed. And so one of the amendments took that out of there. The other was that it listed, it made sure that we listed that there shall be a fee of $1 on every item of Class A, B, or C personal property required pursuant to this article. Originally, in the first bill, we had inadvertently written the present fee of 60 cents, but we did not add that it would be raised to $1. There's also, there was an amendment to make sure that we struck on page 2, line 14, officers, and concerning the suspension of and substituting officers, including but not limited to each. And it also made sure that there was the inclusion of an evaluation of the training and all the processes that go along with the training of the peace officers. And so that is the Judiciary Committee report. I move for the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report.
Any discussion on the Judiciary report? Seeing none, the motion for us is the adoption of the Judiciary report. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. To the appropriations report, Senator.
The appropriations, in the Appropriations Committee, there was an appropriations clause basically stating, let's see, I'm looking for my Appropriations Committee amendment, but basically stating the amount of dollars of $1,612,467 that would be appropriated to the Department of Law through the cash funds.
Senator Rivera. Okay. So any further discussion on the Appropriations Committee amendment? Seeing none, the motion before us is adoption of the Appropriations Committee amendment. All those in favor say aye. All in favor opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Guzman to the...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have an amendment, L003, that I would like to present. Basically, this is an amendment. This just puts a portion on to the last amendment that we did.
Oh, I overrode somebody. That's pretty cool.
All right, thank you.
Senator Guzman, can you move the amendment?
Yes, thank you. I move L003 to Senate Bill 123.
Mr. Majors.
And basically, Mr. Chair, this is removing the provision of rulemaking authority regarding suspensions. It should have been part of the last amendment, but we left that off. So I move that amendment L003.
Mr. Majors.
Amendment L003 to Senate Bill 123 by Senator Guzman. Amend printed bill page 3, line 19, strike 1.5G, 1.5H, and 2B2, and substitute 1.5G and 1.5H. Page 4, strike lines 4 through 6.
Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, this just removes the provision for rulemaking authority regarding the suspensions. As I said a moment ago, there was a part of the bill that said if officers are not going through the training, that they could face suspension until they completed that training. That has been removed, and we forgot to add the other lines in the bill, so we're striking, on line 19, we're striking 1.5 paren G, 1.5 paren H, and paren 2B, and we're substituting the 1.5 G and 1.5 H, which basically is the same, goes to the same amendment that we just passed earlier on. We're just including this because it was left off.
Any discussion to Amendment 003? Seeing none, the motion before us is the adoption of 003. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 123 is basically a bill authorizing the Peace Officer Standard and Training, or the Post Board, to promulgate rules for annual in-service training requirements for certified peace officers and rules necessary to carry out the functions of the Post Board. It also requires, gives them the right to promulgate rules for certification of inspectors of vehicle identification numbers. It basically allows the Post Board to increase its certification fees from $125 to $150. The bill allows the Post Board to expand the entities to whom it may make grants by including nonprofit organizations, and the Post Board may deny certification to any person who is convicted of a municipal violation that is the equivalent of any of the state law violations that permit denial of certification. And finally, the registration fee, the post fee, paid by owners of Class A, B, or C vehicles will increase from 60 cents to $1. So I move Senate Bill 123.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 123? Senator Rivera.
Hi, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was in law enforcement for 34 years, and so I understand and truly know the importance of standards and training and so on. In fact, when I went on in 1971, I don't think anybody here can remember that far back, though, I'm sure. But when I went in on 1971, I was actually able to go to one of the first post-training classes that was held in Golden, Colorado. And I was proud of that. And but I'm concerned about some of these issues on this bill, particularly concerning the denying of certification to somebody that has been convicted of a municipal offense. And I know it says it rises to the level of of crimes in the other portions, such as regular misdemeanors and so on, but it's still a municipal offense. And I know numerous police officers, having worked with them and for them actually down in Pueblo, that if that was in place, they may not have been law enforcement officers down there in Pueblo during those 30 years that I was on the police department. And they were very, very good officers, I'll tell you that. So I'm concerned about that. I don't know if possibly the bill sponsor could explain a little bit more in that area as to how, what type of specific crime might be involved in that particular section of this bill. And the other thing is, and I guess I hate to say this, but we have this creeping certification process that starts out with a good idea, but as we go along, it just continues to find other things to keep us certified on that sometimes are not as just more government getting in the way, I guess is what I might say, with all good intentions and so on, but yet we just seem to have this creeping government now into the post board and that. So I'm concerned about some of these issues in this bill.
Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Senator. I support the folks who are part of the post board. They represent police chiefs. They represent sheriffs. These are people who are on the board, and the Attorney General is the chair of the board, and so I don't by any means want to say I'm an expert on this particular issue that the prior senator stated, but I believe that we have to look at the municipal violation that is the equivalent of any of the state law violations that permit the denial of certification. So if there are issues that in other arenas permit the denial, I would assume that there are reasons for those concerns. And other than that, I really don't have any other form of explanation for that, sir.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe the senator from Pueblo brings up some good questions based on the reality of his 30-plus years in law enforcement. And I would make reference to his final point as being quite salient. That isn't that just what we always do around here, is make it more complicated and more difficult and sometimes impossible for people to continue to, in this case, serve as a police officer. But I heard this in committee, and I have some other concerns as well that I must bring to the Senate's attention before we vote on this in seconds. And I believe they're even more significant to consider, as important as it is on the the practical realities of, is this going to work out for everybody who's seeking to be in law enforcement. Now, let me start by stating that there's one appropriate increase here that's afforded if at least it meets constitutional muster, and that is increasing the application for certification fee. And that means that somebody who's going through the application for certification has to pay for the cost of that process. That's called a fee. It's dollars charged for services rendered, for that service rendered. And that's appropriate. If I'm not going to argue whether or not the amount is appropriate, but to put that in the bill is a very appropriate measure to address the costs of post-certification. However, that's not the big part of the bill. The big part of the bill is the well over $1 million that is going to be largely as a result of a fee placed on vehicle registrations. It's actually an increase of a fee that's already there that I don't think has credibility, because it's not a fee for services rendered. It's a tax. It's a tax. And Colorado law is very clear. A tax requires a vote of the people. But we've got a $1-point-something million tax attached to this bill, and we try to get away with it by calling it a fee. That doesn't meet constitutional muster. If there's merit to Senate Bill 123, it should be paid for legitimately by the general fund, derived from taxes from the people, or if there needs to be a special tax assessed the people, and in this case it's everybody who owns a car or a truck or any of the other vehicles and personal property items that are listed in this. That should be done only by the legitimate means of going to the people and asking for direct permission to increase that tax. Just to call it a fee doesn't make it a fee. It has to be for services rendered right then and there, not this strange nexus of police officers require certain professional training, which I would wholeheartedly agree to, that they do need to do that, and we'll get to the point as to who should make that decision a little bit later here, but the initial point is these training systems shouldn't be placed on the citizen who's trying to register their car, any more than it should be placed on the citizen who's trying to buy a gallon of paint. This is a tax. Taxes are not allowed without a vote of the people. How many times do we have to come down here and remind the body, the individual senators who've all taken an oath of office to follow the Constitution that states taxes are only allowed to be increased or established, in this case increased, by a vote of the people. Now, the other concern I have with Senate Bill 123 is it's placing the authority for determining that professional training for police officers. It's placing it in the hands of the post board and taking it away from the authority of the local sheriff or police chief. Training is already provided in many ways, and yes, I know that this will expand that training. And if we can find the dollars legitimately, I can see some sense to that. But then why do we turn around and say, and the post board needs to tell the individual sheriff's offices what that training should be? I would insist that the system isn't broken. In fact, it's in the right level today, and that is each sheriff, each police chief determines what the appropriate training is for their officers. If the state wants to step in by legitimately finding the funding for that training and offer more training, great. I think that's a good thing. But to then say, and the sheriff won't make that decision anymore, just erodes that much more authority and power away from the elected official and puts it in the hands of an appointed board. That's contrary to the Republican form of government that we're guaranteed in another constitution that we took an oath to uphold. Senate Bill 123 has some intentions that I believe are meritorious, but its process is illegal. That shouldn't be, especially when we're training our law enforcement officers.
Senator Newell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I rise in support of Senate Bill 123, and I'll tell you why. We are under-resourced when it comes to the training of our peace officers. And in fact, we have been 48th in the U.S. when it comes to training of our peace officers. And as we create new laws here, they need to be kept up to speed with those. And there are some of the sheriffs that can't even do firearms training because they don't have the dollars. The sheriffs are in support of this because most of the sheriffs already require in-service training, but they don't have the money for it. So it's basically an unfunded mandate. This beefs up the rest of them that need those dollars, particularly in the rural areas, and we need to make sure that they have that training available to them when we create the new bills that come forth. For instance, training on improper searches, that's another area that they called out in testimony. We're one of 6 states in the country that doesn't have a mandate when it comes to training. And I don't know about you, but I want to make sure that peace officers in my district are provided with training and that they have up to date training. Half of them across the state rely on the post training, and in the rural, 70% of them rely on it, and we are undersourced. We don't have enough training for them. So many states already have this. I do want to reiterate that the police chiefs and the sheriffs are all on board with this and have been very supportive of this. And I will also say that from my background with training programs, it is one of the problems that we also have is that we're not tracking the training, we're not evaluating the training the way that it should be, so we don't know about the efficacy of the training. And so this will also help with that. We're making sure that we are up to date when it comes to evaluating the training and making sure that our taxpayer dollars are being well spent. So I am a firm supporter of Senate Bill 123, and thank you, Senator Guzman, for bringing it forward.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 123? Seeing none, the motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 123. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no? No. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 123 is adopted.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
The motion for the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and we will rise and report.
The Senate will come back to order. Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
March 19, 2014. Madam President, your committee of the whole basic report is out of consideration of the following attached bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 123 is amended and passed on second reading in order to engross, placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1092 passed on second reading in order to revise, placed on the counter for third reading and final passage.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of the report.
Is there any discussion? Question is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 123 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1092 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Okay. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Having voted on the prevailing side, I move for the reconsideration of House Bill 1117.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. We will reconsider House Bill 1117. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Having the amendment we placed on House Bill 1117 means that this bill needs to be referred to Ledge Council.
So Mr. Majority Leader, I'm going to ask that Mr. Majors read the title, and we'll move it. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1117?
House Bill 1117 by Representative Schaefer and Senator Roberts concerning the creation of the Colorado Premature Birth Commission.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that House Bill 1117 as amended be referred to Legislative Council.
Members, this is the process required under the rules when we have legislative members appointed on a commission. Question for the body is referring to Legislative Council. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. House Bill 1117 has been referred to Legislative Council Committee. Consideration of House amendments to Senate bills. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 89?
Senate Bill 89 by Senator Schwartz and Representative Fisher concerning a prohibition for the state to enter into an agreement for a payment in lieu of taxes.
Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. And Senate Bill 89 passed out of the Senate, and in the House, there was simply the drafter made some grammatical changes to the bill, nothing of any substance, and it is the bill virtually as it left the Senate with these grammatical corrections.
Senator Schwartz, do you care to move to
I move Senate Bill 89 for consideration of House amendments.
The motion is to concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 89. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, the Senate concurs with House amendments to Senate Bill 89. Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President, and I move for the readoption of House Bill 89.
Is there any discussion? Question is the readoption of Senate Bill 89. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader. Senators Brophy, Harvey, Lundberg, Shuffle, Marble, Grantham. Senator Harvey, I've got you. Senator Rivera, Senator Brophy, Senator Herpin, Senator Hill, Senator Lambert, Senator Crowder, Senator Baumgartner. With 20 ayes, 13 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 89 is readopted. Committee reports. Co-sponsors on Senate Bill 89. Committee reports.
March 18, 2014, Committee on Local Government. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following House Bill 1210 be referred to the Committee of the Whole. Favorable recommendation. March 18, 2014, Committee on Local Government. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following House Bill 1254 be amended as follows and also amended before the Committee of the Whole. Favorable recommendation. March 18, 2014, Committee on Transportation. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following House Bill 1100 be amended as follows and also amended before the Committee on Appropriations. Favorable recommendation. March 18, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Transportation has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends the appointments be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Members of the Transportation Commission for a term expiring July 1st, 2015, Douglas E. Aiden of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve as a commissioner from the 7th Transportation District, reappointed for terms expiring July 1st, 2017. Shannon Margaret Giffords, CFA of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a commissioner from the 1st Transportation District, appointed. Gary Michael Reif of Englewood, Colorado, serves as a commissioner from the 3rd Transportation District, reappointed. Sidney K. Zink of Durango, Colorado, to serve as a commissioner from the 8th Transportation District, appointed. March 18, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Transportation has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointment and recommends the appointment be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Member of the Transportation Commission for a term expiring July 1st, 2017, William Thibault Jr. of Pueblo, Colorado, to serve as a commissioner from the 10th Transportation District, appointed. March 18, 2014, Committee on Transportation. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following House Bill 1089 be referred to the Committee of the Whole. Favorable recommendation.
Signing of bills.
March 19, 2014, the President signed House Bills 1060, 1077, 1079, 1129, and 1163.
Announcements. Mr. Majority Leader. Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to, I think some were able to come this morning to the Chaffa breakfast before today, with a great opportunity to hear from and talk to the leaders who are on housing in the state. And we're honored to have the senior leaders of our Chaffa team here on the floor this morning. So I want to welcome them all and thank them for the incredible work they're doing to make housing affordable for people all over the state.
Madam President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to remind everyone about the Aerospace and Engineering Sciences caucus that's going to happen today. Join Denver Metro State University President Stephen Jordan with aerospace industry leaders and faculty today at noon in House HCR 0111. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. All the committees are meeting as scheduled today, and with that, I move that the Senate adjourn until 9 a.m. Thursday, March 20th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will adjourn until 9 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday, March 20th.